KingSithis is now live streaming World of Warcraft. Talk to Encaps Live.
What's going on, guys? Sithis here, back at it with another live stream. Today we are playing some World of Warcraft. You know, just playing the normal thing that I normally play. Yeah. Just checking something out real quick. Yo, who just joined? Hello. I am an anarcho-capitalist.
Okay.
Do you know what that is?
Mm-hmm.
All right.
I don't think that you were alone, honestly. I thought it was sad.
You saw that I was alone in here and you thought it was sad?
Yeah. Why are you an anarcho-capitalist?
Because I am against...
Or the Mormons there.
Are the what?
Oh, no, it's not you. Okay, yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say that I'm against the government. I think that taxation is a forceful extraction of wealth by the state. And I also believe very strongly in, you know, the free exchange of goods and services between private property owners and private property rights. So because of that, I'm an anarchist and a capitalist. Oh, she left. Never mind.
What's going on?
What's going on, man? Milt? How you doing?
Only one way to pronounce my name.
Huh?
Only one way to pronounce my name.
I know, but
Mitch.
I read it wrong. I read it wrong because I'm a goof.
Because you're a retard. I know.
I know, but it is what it is.
His ways, man. Yeah.
It is what it is. Hello. Is that Ratify?
Yeah,
No?
it's good, Sithis.
What's up?
I don't know. How's work?
Everything's going good.
Yeah. I met another ANCAP who has your same job, by the way, Sithis.
That's cool. That's good for him,
I
man.
know.
Proud of him. Are you talking about taxation is theft? Because I'm friends with him.
No. Different.
Okay.
Speak quickly.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Are you pro-union? Like, would you unionize with like your fellow ANCAP brethren who have the same job, or no?
I mean, I'm not anti-union.
Trust no one.
Gotcha.
I'm not anti-union. Like, if somebody wants to if a group wants to unionize, you know. But if a business wants to not accept them, I don't think they should have to.
Gotcha.
You know, that's the thing about freedom.
Right.
So, KingSithis.
Yeah, what's up?
Or would you say you're a feudalist or no?
Not really, no.
Well, what would the anarchy-capitalist lead to?
It would
Or
lead to
anarcho?
it would lead to anarcho-capitalism.
Yeah. So the most powerful branch would win. The most powerful force would win.
That's not how it works in the real world.
So how would you operate without a centralized state?
A decentralized, we could have one decentralized, multiple decentralized private property owners trading with each other.
Yeah, and couldn't they take power and turn this into like a feudalist society? Or I'm not sure how that works, but
Well, if they're, I mean, it depends on what you mean by like feudalism. Like if somebody's forced to work on land, that's slavery, so that would be illegal. And yeah, but if somebody wants to like own land and call themselves a king, As long as they're not forcing anyone to do anything against their will, I don't have a problem with that. I mean,
Well,
I'd probably do that.
Yeah, in the anarcho society, right? There's no recourse for action.
Yes, there
There's
is.
no consequence.
What
There
would
isn't.
What would make you think that?
Because you controls the judicial branch, right? You control the courts. How's that work?
There would be private courts.
Anything that's fair, or
It would be a lot more fair than what we have now. We have a monopoly on courts, and monopolies tend to be very unfair.
okay?
Whereas, like, if you have competing firms of adjudication, if you feel like one is not doing a good job, you could go to another competition the same way that you would change your phone plan or your insurance or any other service that you dislike where there's competition.
So, do you believe in private property or no?
Yeah, 100%. I'm a anarcho-capitalist, and in order for you to have capitalism, which capitalism I would define as the free exchange of goods and services that are owned by private property owners.
And
Then
they
you
would
have
be
to have.
responsible for the property. They would enforce it.
Say that again. Sorry.
They would be responsible for the property. They would be the ones enforcing it. Their claim, or
Well, you can enforce your own claim, or you can probably hire competing private rights enforcement agencies or insurance firms that would insure your property against torts against other people. Like kind of like if somebody crashes into your car, your insurance company kind of covers that out of a pool of money that a bunch of people pay into, and then they figure out how to get the money back later on. Or they like take some of the money and then they invest it, make it bigger. A lot of insurance companies do things to, but just basically what you would do is you would expand it to all private property, whether it be your body and your house or your PlayStation or anything, or your car or something like that you may own, and it would work basically like that. And they're not your rulers, they're just insurance companies.
so essentially under a anarcho society, right? The strongest would try to dominate.
If the strongest tried to dominate, they would have to deal with all the competing private insurance firms. It would be harder because it would be more competition. The same way in countries where there's a lot of competing states, it's harder to take them all at once. The reason why is because when there's more competition, it's harder to consolidate. Whereas when you have a monopoly, it's easier.
Beware, our enemies abound.
You don't think that's problematic, right? I know. Where the strongest kind of rule and the weak kind of suffer.
I don't think that's gonna happen.
Now,
Really?
Well, no. What would make you think that would happen?
So if there's no centralized government or no government to enforce laws, how would the weak be protected? Or how would they thrive?
But they could hire an insurance firm that could protect their property from torts against other people, and then that insurance company, out of the money that they use to insure property, could hire some sort of security firm that they could call in order to protect them in under any circumstance like that. And kind of the same way like you insure your car against car accidents, you call them up whenever something happens. They could probably have something very similar to the 911 services that we have now, but as opposed to it being public, it would be privatized.
So are you kind of like vying for an anarcho-capitalist state for America, or no? Should we turn into that, or?
Ideally, I would want an anarcho-capitalist world. I would want an anarcho-capitalist universe, ideally. Or multiverse.
Yeah, it's a interesting premise. I never really thought about it that way. I know.
Well, you came to the right place. The thing about anarcho-capitalism is that the main reason why we want to get rid of the state is because taxation is theft. It is a forceful extraction of wealth by the government. We don't really have a choice. So we look at the state as being no different than a band of thieves or a criminal organization that has sort of been legitimized by the population.
Would maintain some sort of like civility, or
I mean,
I
you
just
can
like
move their covenant communities could do stuff like that. Hapa had a good idea about like religious covenant communities, kind of like like Amish people or
yeah.
Mormons or people like that. Well,
Mhm.
we don't have any problem with that so long as they are not initiating force against anyone. If they want to live on their own land, have covenant communities, and live by their own rules and kick out any degeneracy, that as so long as they're the owners, we don't have a problem with that. In fact, we are cool with it. When you have a government, the government then tries to enforce its morality on everybody. You know what I mean? And not everybody has the same rules or ideas. And there's always conflict. So it's just better to let private property owners make their own rules on their own property, so long as they're not initiating force.
Well, do you think a anarcho-capitalist society will lead to more internal conflict, or would things be relatively peaceful? I'm not sure.
I feel like
I
everything
don't.
would be much more peaceful than it is now, because there would be a lot less of an incentive to not be peaceful, because the consequences for being aggressive would be higher in an ANCAP society than it is now. Because there would be like consequences. Because not only would people be allowed to protect themselves, but they would also have like private militias and private rights enforcement agencies, and as well as insurance companies to back them up in case of violence. Or
How did you arrive at this conclusion, or how did you arrive this, I guess, ideology? Right? Like,
Oh,
what made you say this would be a better way?
well, I was a libertarian for a while, and I was kind of just like really like John Stossel videos and Thomas Sowell and stuff like that. So I was pretty libertarian already. But then I discovered this guy named Liquid Zulu, his YouTube channel, and then his YouTube videos introduced me to anarcho-capitalism. And I agreed with it a lot, and then I kind of like changed my mind, and then became like a full ANCAP libertarian.
So you're like a John Locke type guy, or
I guess you could say I'm more of like a Rothbard kind of guy. Rothbard, Stefan Kinsella,
okay? Yeah, I've heard of him. Yeah,
Papa
yeah.
kind of guy.
I don't know, man. I'll do some more research into it. Right? I know.
Yeah, that's no problem. I mean, like, if you have any questions, I mean, like, we're here. I know Pogfrog over here. He's like almost like a human encyclopedia when it comes to the ethical stuff.
Gotcha.
Excuse me. Yeah. And another thing about the state is that they well, taxation is theft. That's why we're against the government. But we don't have the difference between us ANCAPs and like communists is that we don't have a problem with private business, and we don't have a problem with private property. We support private property. We believe in private property, you know. So that's what sets us apart from your like ANCOMs.
Yeah, I don't know. I think my quandary or my dilemma is, right, that if we don't have a centralized government or a government to enforce rule, we'll turn into like a techno feudal society, or like very corporatist, right?
Well, corporatism is an issue that is caused by the government because they put in laws that allow certain businesses to go ahead of other competition, like other businesses, and take out their competition. So, for instance, like the minimum wage law. So, like, there are some companies that aren't able to, like, let's say we raise the minimum wage to like $15 an hour. There's some companies that aren't able to afford to pay every one of their employees $15 an hour. So they're not going to really like that forced wage increase because it's going to put them out of the business, or they're going to make some cuts and stuff like that. But to large businesses, they're like, yeah, keep do it. Like, it's a good thing because that takes out their competition, because they're the only one that can pay people more because they have the excess capital. So, there's every regulation that is put in place basically puts a barrier to entry to any business that is smaller than a larger business that has less capital, because now you're making it cost more to enter that business. And now whenever it costs more to enter that business, you have less competition. When you have less competition, there is more consolidation. So yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. No. Is there any like real life demonstrations of this like working, or do you have any like examples like real life? Or
I mean, there are some people who say that medieval Iceland is pretty close, but I would say a pretty close example. I wouldn't say it's on ANCAP, but I would say there are certain economic freedom zones that do extremely well economically and make a lot of money. And what they do, economic freedom zones, essentially the idea behind it is a country with a lot of regulations. What they'll do is they'll give these special sections off where there's no regulations and extremely low taxes, and then they allow businesses to sort of operate, which then incentivizes businesses to start up in that area, and then they start generating capital, and then those areas end up making a fuck ton of money and a fuck ton of taxes for those areas. And the reason why that is when you have lower regulations and lower taxes, and incentivizes people to build wealth in that area. And even though it's a lower tax rate, the amount of money that they're getting is much more because they are allowed to make more wealth. So, it's
yeah, so like I just like Hong Kong, Singapore,
Yeah.
where there's like no government regulations, no government presence. It's kind of like hands off.
Very hands off. And there's this one place that's called Prospera on an island off of Honduras,
Okay.
where they
Yeah.
basically have barely any taxes and everything is self-regulated and everything. And it's an extreme success. Like, there's tons of jobs there. They're bringing in tons of capital. They're bringing in tons of money, and they're hiring people. Like, it's a success, And but a lot of the problems is that a lot of these things end up being so successful that it ends up outshining the governments around them, and then they end up getting pissed off, and then they try to shut them down because it's not good for them. So China is trying to shut down Hong Kong because their economy is like so much better because it's freer.
Yeah, I would say I just seen Singapore in like the 90s, right? It'd fall under an anarcho-capitalist kind of definition, right? Because it was really hands off, and well, we can see how it turns out, right? I'm not sure.
Well,
I'm not sure if this is the right way, or I don't know.
Well, the thing is, when you make it less hard for people to create wealth, people create wealth more. It's just kind of how it is, When you put more barriers in the way, people are less incentivized to create wealth. I mean, people still do create wealth, they just do it less. Or they're just not able to create more than they would have otherwise if they had that wealth.
Yeah, I don't know. I think if we had a anarcho-capitalist society in America, right, and no federal oversight, no like federalization, okay, you'd kind of be buying into these factions, and you'd have like 15 factions in the United States, and they could be
I am
susceptible to
foreseen.
war, like all these things, right? I don't know.
Factions, you mean? Factions, are you saying?
Dark Lady.
Oh, he left? Oh, I thought we were having a good convo. And that's okay.
Oh, he
How
left.
are you, Cam?
Sorry, I was doing a W voluntary exchange with a friend for some weed. Or it involved weed.
No problem.
I was gonna say that guy like.
You seem like a nice guy, but you know,
Yeah.
you do.
No, I was gonna say there's something about because you were giving him examples like of more modern stuff, more modern examples of like quasi ANCAP or like somewhat more libertarian places, but usually people have questions about like or concerns about like the legal like or judicial system of an ANCAP society, and I think like medieval Ireland, which taxation is theft put me onto,
Yeah,
is pretty interesting because like Brehon law was like private law.
yeah.
So when people act like you can't like have private law, like I mean, there's multiple like angles you can like address that concern from, but like I mean you can literally just point to like examples like of like systems of private law, and it's not like it was just total like chaos. Like it was like a customary how would you call it? Like it was like how the system kind of worked from what I understand. Um, I don't know that much about it, but it was like mostly based on custom, where
Can you,
who exactly was like a judge or an adjudicator was based on like I think it was usually like a hereditary thing where it's like your father was like a judge or whatever. I don't remember what they called them. I think they were called brehons actually. Um, and so then you would study and become a brehon, and it was like decentralized, so they kind of just like operated like businesses, you know, and you would take your dispute to one.
Hmm.
Bro, I was in this room earlier with taxation and theft, and I was kind of like in and out of it because it was like honestly like it was like pretty obnoxious because like there were these people in there. I guess like taxation like knew one of them, but him and this like other guy primarily were being like obnoxious where it was like honestly like so hard to follow the conversation because they kept jumping from point to point. It's like I want like earlier in the conversation, like one of them was like saying that they believe that like might makes right and that ANCAPs haven't like refuted Thomas Hobbes or whatever. And then eventually somehow we like this was bear in mind this was probably within the course of like 20 minutes or like 30 minutes, and by the end of it like or some point way later on like we ended up like talking about like the history of like stateless societies if they're well they were questioning whether there ever have been stateless societies, which obviously there have been, but it was like the problem was that they would one of them or both of them would like bring up some point and then they'd argue about it for like literally like a minute and then like somehow they just pivot to some other thing and I'm like well like at one point I'm like they like pivoted because we were talking or taxation was talking about the ECP, right? And then they somehow pivoted to like the history of like stateless societies and
Hmm.
I'm like bro like are we gonna, and I was like I interjected, I'm like are we gonna talk about economics or like economics or history? And one of them acted like I was being annoying, and they were kind of over talking me. And I'm just like, well, one, I just want clarification, and two, like, I just want to know, like, yeah, I just want clarification on like this pivot, because it's like we have to stick to one thing at a time. They
Yeah,
wanted
yeah, yeah.
I don't know how to like. If you were there, you would know what I'm talking about. Like we literally went from like topic to topic to topic to topic. I'm like, bro, can we like stick to one point? Like, Jesus Christ.
Sheesh. No, I
It's
get
like,
you
so,
on that.
is it-
The thing about
it's just
history is
not
that you have to
productive.
know a lot about history to kind of get into it. So, but the thing is, I don't know much
Yeah,
about
yeah.
it. So,
No, it's just like I just don't understand like this whole thing where it's like they just go like they're just like gish galloping, like they're going from one thing to another to another to another. It's like it's not productive because it's like we don't actually get into like much of the substance on like these various like issues. Like we have to actually like spend a little more time like on each issue. It's just like weird how they do
yeah.
that.
Lord Iran. What level am I at? Oh, I'm level 12. I'm almost level 13. That's when I can.
You know, you're playing WoW. You're playing WoW, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Something I was thinking. Oh wait, no, I'll tell you this. Whatever. It's not. I'll tell you this. So, something I was thinking about, which so I was talking to ChatGPT about this, and I was trying to figure out if like there's any like libertarian literature on this, and I don't think there is. There's like an issue of like, or there's like a topic, of like, potential property rights in games where it's not like IP, right? It's not like the idea is that you have the right to like the idea of like a certain item in a
Property
game, right?
rights
But
in like
the
in the
yeah,
information,
no, not yeah. Like the idea isn't that like
the
you have
data.
property rights in information. The idea would be that potentially you could have rights to like take the example of like if someone in a game hacks your account and takes your items, right? I was thinking about that, and I'm like, would that be an aggression? And at first I was thinking like, okay, maybe not, but then because if you think about it, you might think like, okay, well, if you say yes, then like maybe that somehow like relies on IP. But the distinction is that um it's kind of technical, but I think it's supposed to be that like when you have like a game server, right? There are like different there you can have like different entries in like this database or the server, right? And
Yeah.
certain entries can represent like certain items, right? And so and this is all going to be based on like physical infrastructure, like the I don't know what you call them, like the literal like physical servers, right? And
Yeah.
so if you have a hacker who like goes into who hacks someone's account and takes their items, that could be classified as theft among maybe other aggressions involved with like the hacking, because that would involve someone essentially in an unauthorized manner going in and altering these servers, right? Which they don't have consent to do this, right? But they are initiating a conflict, because if you hack
Well,
into an
it would
account.
be I'd probably be initiating a conflict against the server owners.
Yeah, that would be well, it could be like in two senses where they're initiating a conflict against the owner because they're doing this thing which, like, when they go in and they hack it, right, that is making it such that like whoever owns it isn't able to do like whatever else with the physical server thing. But then also how you could think about like players on a server, right, is that like they derive the right to play on it from the owner ultimately, right? And so by that means, if your items specifically are taken, you could be said to have some sort of right to them in virtue of the official owner's right, or like I guess you used to say the owner's right.
Well, I'll think about it like this. How about this?
Mhm.
Scarcity, because I hear that some people make the argument that Bitcoins are not scarce resources, right? But I would actually argue that it is, because my use of it, scarcity is determined by exclusivity of usage, right?
Yeah.
So if my use could take away from your use of that thing, then if I'm the first comer to it, then that would make me the owner, basically. And if you take it without my permission, then you're basically a rights violator. Now, that could be true for in-game items if the item is a scarce item in the game. So, if somebody comes into...
Yeah, that's important. That's important too, sorry to cut you off, but like I was also thinking about how whether or not there can be whether or not there can be conflict over like an in-game item would depend on how the game dev set it up. Where it's like if you have a game where it's like an item is infinitely replicable, that's how they set it up. Then there can't be there's not going to be conflict over it, or there can't be conflict over it, because if you take mine, and another one can just be generated instantly, well, there's no conflict there, right? Because it's not like your use is necessarily excluding mine, because like I can just get another one. But if it's like I don't know, like they probably have like special items in like WoW, for example, where it's like they're rare, right? And even if it's like artificial, like even if it's artificial scarcity that's like imposed or created by the game devs, it's still scarcity nonetheless, and thus there can be conflicts.
So there must be. So there must. So I feel like it follows that there must be an owner. You know what I mean?
It follows that there can be an owner.
There can be an owner.
I don't know if there. Well, in principle, because it's scarce.
Yeah. But when it comes to infinitely, what you call infinitely replicable things, then it doesn't matter.
Yeah, like property rights are like.
I'm actually making a video on why pirated video games and private servers are ethically okay, and that's what I'm calling it.
Yeah, and then like there like you could like, because there you just say, you just bring up like I guess like an objection regarding like IP, where it's like the idea is supposed to be that like, oh, like the servers aren't allowed to be up because like they're infringing on the copyright of like Blizzard or whatever. But then the important difference between IP and what I'm talking about is that there is, because there's no like there's no scarcity in like ideas themselves, right, or just information itself. But then if you have again like these items, right, which can be scarce and which I think are reducible down to like these physical like things in servers or whatever. I would need to know more about the technical details, but I'm pretty sure like the important part is that, or the important point about like these in-game items is that they bottom out in like the physical server states or whatever, and those, because they're like these physical objects, they're like scarce.
No, that doesn't follow.
What do you mean?
You can have like a property
items?
rights in like things in like games or like on like any server. The same reason why you don't own Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, you do.
You know.
Sure you can.
Well, there are some people that argue that you can't own Bitcoin, but you can't own Bitcoin. Well, I don't really know, because
I don't understand the argument.
It's pretty clear. The Bitcoin is not scarce, right? It's not conflictable.
Yeah, it is. If you take someone's Bitcoin, they can't use it.
Wait, but like if I want. How do you have like a conflict over like a non-physical thing?
Well, you could take someone's Bitcoin, right?
Yeah, but this would be like on like a server, right? This would be like something on informational data, right?
So wouldn't that mean that there was something that was I guess belonged to one person that's now taken by another person? Because it's no longer in their possession anymore.
That's assuming it belongs to them.
I think I guess I don't know like the details of Bitcoin, but like with Bitcoin, it's like you have these like physical like mining rigs or whatever, like these, I don't know what you call them, like you have these physical things, like these are what like this is how they like mine the Bitcoin, right? So I don't know though, like I think it depends. Whether you can own Bitcoin would have to depend on like whether you can trace back like a Bitcoin to some physical thing, which would be scarce. And then if it's like
no, it has nothing to do with whether you can trace the thing. Something doesn't become like ownable. Something doesn't gain like the status of like being able to be conflictable because it's derived from something physical. It's just like a descriptive fact, like prima facie, that property rights can only be held in like physical things.
Yeah, but can't there be conflict over a Bitcoin if there's like, if you take something out of
it's not physical.
But two people can't use the same Bitcoin at once, right?
So what?
though, wouldn't that be like a conflict? Like if I'm directing, I can't direct the same.
Well,
use.
the thing is that Bitcoin just represents value, right?
Mm-hmm.
The problem with that is that value does not equal ownership. Since values to say that this is like conflictable, you're like signing objective value to it.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. Well, then in that case, then video games, World of Warcraft gold cannot be stolen. Basically, it's
No.
But I don't understand that because clearly someone's use of like even an in-game item can be like displaced by another person, right?
Yeah, but like it's literally just information that's like changing around like on your computer, and
But
seems
if
like
oh, sorry.
if let's say I'm on YouTube right now, for example, right? And YouTube decides I'm gonna like remove the texture, like the notification button, and it might be the case that like my use of like looking at this notification button, like we can't do that at the same time. They can't change that while me looking at the notification button. That doesn't like describe there's some kind of conflict.
okay. So for there to be conflict, there has to be ownership. How
No,
so? Right?
There doesn't need to be ownership for
there
there
has
to
to be
conflict.
scarcity,
There
right?
needs to be. It needs to be conflictable for there to be ownership. It's the other way around. The
But
thing is that
can't-
like information like changing around like just simply does not establish like
But uses of something like
conflict.
an in-game item or Bitcoin can.
No, I wouldn't know what like the symmetry breaker would be between like YouTube changing like the texture of the notification button and me not liking that compared to someone taking like a gold in World of Warcraft, because all that's happening is that I no longer see that texture anymore. Like the literal information data just, like disappears off my screen.
Yeah,
But, like,
because
what's
like
the symmetry
what
breaker
thing
here?
is what thing is being taken from you is like I guess the real question that you're asking is like what thing that was in your
Yeah, but
possession is
that
no
that's
longer
like
in your-
assuming that it belongs to you, right? So it might be the case that I'm in like possession of it, right? I don't even know what like possession would be describing here, but you could like probably colloquially say that I'm like in possession of like the YouTube home screen right now.
Okay, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I get what you're saying. Because right now I'm in possession of the video games files of
But-
World of Warcraft. If somebody came onto my computer and took those files, would that be theft? That wouldn't be theft, I'm guessing.
No.
No? Because it's not a physical.
Because a file is not ownable, right? It's the same way if you have like same way if you have like a hard drive, for example, right? Like anything on the hard drive, you don't own. You can't have ownership in anything on the hard drive. You own like the physical thing.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
anything that's information, anything that's not physical, you just it's like impossible to have a property right then.
But if would you agree that someone's like, what's the example? It's like the example where it's like you have the files and then wait, what was what was the example you gave?
Oh, I had like a World of Warcraft files on my computer. That's what I said.
So if someone somehow came along and like moved them off of your wait, how would it be like they're manipulating the files in some way? Like I don't.
I guess
How
they
would
would
they
just
even-
take the files, move it to their hard drive, and then take the hard drive out. It wouldn't be in
how
their my
would-
computer anymore. It would just be in his hard drive.
It would be a trespass, but there's no like theft.
What if they? How would you describe it? I guess in any scenario I can imagine, it would like they would have to like Wait. Okay, wait, no. It's like to me. Okay, wait, hold on. Hold
No,
on.
you're good. You're good. I'm
It-
just laughing because it's a funny scenario. But go ahead.
I'm just thinking that like even in the case of files though, like uses can conflict. Like if someone like somehow manipulates files on your computer, it makes it such that you can no longer use them somehow, then you would have a conflict in my mind over them.
Yeah, but we have to remember like a conflict itself is not just like we have like specifically, conflict is a physical thing, right? It's when we're literally trying to implement the same physical thing towards
Contradictory
contrary
actions?
end. Yeah. So the
Okay.
thing about, I would very like to know what the symmetry breaker between, like, we can even use like Discord as an example. Imagine like Discord changes like their, or even let's say the owner of this server right now decides to just like shut down this channel. What conflict occurred? Because those users conflict. We can't be in this channel while they shut it down, right? We can't do that at the same time. But how does that establish a conflict? And the thing is, like, conflicts are simply just like descriptively only about physical things. Like, they're just like prima facie impossible on the internet.
What do you mean by physical then?
Material?
What do I mean by physical?
Yeah, what do you mean by physical?
Yeah, it's like a literal object in the real world I can like touch and feel, right? A material thing.
Okay. So that would just like exclude anything virtual, like by definition.
Yeah.
I feel like that might be
That would kind of suck, like,
I was thinking about this, but I feel like
if
that-
somebody steals
that
your
breaks
Bitcoin, that's not theft,
Well,
then, right?
You're
Like,
kind of like assuming you can steal Bitcoin, which I don't think you can.
well, you know what I mean. Like, somebody
Yeah,
goes,
yeah.
you, but like when I say steal Bitcoin, I don't mean like the. Well, what I'm saying is like if somebody goes into someone's bank account, and kind of like takes out or wallet, takes their Bitcoin, puts it in their wallet, they couldn't like, be like, oh, that guy stole something from me. Like, oh, he owes me money. You know what I'm saying? Like, he couldn't.
How do they even get in there?
Well, maybe
Because like
they
how
had their
Bitcoin works
wallet,
is then because how Bitcoin like generally works is through like what's it called? We have like these like passwords and we have all these like different things you have to like interconnect with, right? And there might be like physical things you own there, but to get to the point in which you need like a physical thing to interact with the digital thing, but it's like impossible to steal like the digital thing.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay, so you're saying you can only have conflicts over physical things, and we're taking physical as you defined it, right?
Sure.
Like, what would the argument be that we can only have conflicts over physical things, though?
Yeah,
Because
so like
digital
if
things
we're-
aren't a scarce resource.
I wasn't asking you.
Yeah,
Well, that's the
yeah,
argument.
Yeah, that's the argument. Yeah, sure.
Well, the thing
what did he
is,
say?
like, you can't, you can't touch a Bitcoin.
Okay.
So, like, for something to be stolen from you, something has to be in your possession. But how could you say that a Bitcoin is in your possession?
But you can be in possession of digital things, right? But I wouldn't say like anything you like originally possess you like own. You can like be the original possessor of like an idea, but that doesn't like equate to ownership.
Well, possess, wouldn't that mean like you're holding it or doing something with it?
I don't think possession like implies like something physical.
Yeah, if someone's like in possession of like a CP on their computer, that's just right. So I
Well, would
guess in
say
this
something.
instance,
Yeah, I
though,
guess. Yeah.
I guess in this instance regarding scarcity, doggo, you could probably argue that Bitcoin is a scarce resource, even though it's digital,
How?
because there's a finite amount of said resource.
Yeah,
we
but
just
that's not
got
what
over
I'm-
this. We just went over this. Sorry, go ahead.
If we yeah, but like there being like it seems like pretty clear to me that that's not like enough to establish like for something to be like a conflict, right? Because if we have like it might be the case that like there's like a finite amount of rooms on this server, for example, right? It would like conflict with the idea of us being in the room and the server owner like closing the room down. That doesn't establish there's some kind of like aggression here.
Well, you want to know what's interesting too? I feel like that would be probably a really good example, especially if we're talking about actual storage space on servers. If there's a finite amount of space, that means like a finite amount of opportunities for like discrete voltages to be ones rather than zeros.
Mhm.
And that would be in and of itself a limited resource. Right, how do you define scarcity as like, you know, limited, where you have limited
Well, I would
resources
just
that are
say it's
used
like
to.
conflictable. Like we have like something that can be. It's like we have like some physical thing, right? Where people can come into like conflict over it.
Do you think because like imaginably there's probably a bunch of things that you can come into conflict over. Is conflict presupposing the physicality?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, I guess that's just like a tautology then.
Yeah, I think if you everything that's brute, everything you can reduce down is going to be tautological. If tautological, but just refer to like reasserting itself. The same way we say like we don't say something makes a fact, right? Because facts. Would you say like facts are tautological?
So if somebody can like hack Bitcoin away from someone, then that wouldn't actually be stealing. That wouldn't be theft in your mind.
No.
Okay.
But wouldn't you?
That's the question that
in
I
my mind,
asked a couple of minutes ago, actually, just like literally before you came in here, Dark Karl
Look,
Marx. I asked him the same question.
Something a lot easier. Like Kinsella has a couple of articles on Bitcoin. I can just send it to you if you want. It would be a lot easier than me like trying to explain it.
Sure. I mean, I guess maybe I'll see if he talks about it there. But
he doesn't think you can own Bitcoin, right? But he goes over
I'm pretty
everything.
sure he
like
has
how
a
it
lecture about it too.
He has a lecture on it here, but like all of these articles here, he like goes over what like possession and how it works with like the knowledge in the Bitcoin and how the ownership relates.
Can't
to it.
own Bitcoin. So I guess here's a question for you. If I mean, I know you're familiar with the idea of like a pegged currency, right, Doggo?
A peg currency?
A pegged, like a currency that is pegged, fixed exchange
Yeah.
rate. Okay, so like, you would say that the transfer of like if Bitcoin was pegged to gold or something, right? Then you would argue that you could steal it, or still no.
If it were to like take away like something physical, like if it would imply that if like let's say
It implies that like you, like basically on like an accounting ledger or something, right? You would move, like the physical gold pretty much would never really move, but then the quote unquote like right or agreement.
yeah,
to
but the
gold
title, yeah, then
transfers.
that would be theft, yeah.
Okay, so that's the symmetry breaker there.
Yeah,
That's kind of like taking a stock, right? Because stocks are tied to real assets in the real world, right? Like, so it would be theft.
I think Doggo doesn't really believe in stocks though.
No,
what do you mean?
I don't think that's true.
He thinks only one person can own a thing. We talked about this before, Doggo, that you don't think multiple people owning stock in a company is like actual ownership of said company.
Yeah, but I don't think you can like own stocks, but I wouldn't say you own the company. I don't think companies are ownable. Like I don't think
Stocks are just
companies like
receipts for real world
companies aren't
assets.
like real like entities, right? A company is just like it's a contractual network of individuals owning different things. I don't think like a company is like one thing that's ownable. Like a network.
A company isn't ownable?
Yeah, a company is like a network of contracts between individual owners of different things. I wouldn't say like a company is like one thing.
Okay, that's confusing.
A company
So
isn't
you
an
don't think-
object. It's just
You don't think people can
relations.
have like a sole proprietorship? That's not like a thing? Or you can't have a sole proprietorship?
What do you mean by that in this context?
Like a person who owns a company and they're the sole owner of said company.
Well, I wouldn't say that's the most cases. I don't think it's ownable, but you can. I guess it is possible you can have one owner, but that's generally not how it works when it comes to like stocks.
Well, not with stocks, right? That's why I'm asking.
Yeah,
like
you
a sole
can
proprietor-
you can have like one person who owns the company, but it would just be like limited through like a bunch of contracts again. But yeah, you can have one owner. Yeah.
Okay,
But that's
so
just
then if
generally
there's-
not how it's referred to.
So then in the cases of stocks, right, you're saying if you buy stock in a company, you own something of that company? Like,
I don't think
what do you
own
own?
something of that company.
Something related to that company? What do you own?
I'm pretty sure it's the assets.
Yeah, you own the assets.
It's the assets that
Yeah,
that is making the money. You own a portion of that. It's like a stock is just a receipt for a percentage of the.
Well, maybe like
assets
maybe
that-
like ownership is not even like the right term here. We can look at like what's actually being exchanged here. Right? It could be viewed as like something of a contract. So it's like conditional. If something happening, then some transfer happens. But like obviously all the ownership that's referred to here is going to be in regards to like some exchange, something that's being exchanged, like some money, some currency.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. So
Well,
if you
why are
had, huh?
I don't get why you like do this, like ask me like weird questions on this. This never goes anywhere. We just like
Is that
end
a
up...
weird question?
No, it's not like a weird question. No,
like-
you do that. You do this often, where you like go in and then you ask me about some like obscure point in libertarian theory, and then you just end up, oh yeah, well this is just like some wacky definition, and then it's just like.
I mean,
just
obviously
like
it's
for no
wacky,
reason.
right? But that's why I said I don't think you believe in stocks. Like, you don't believe in stocks as a form of ownership. You believe in them as something else. I don't know. But I remember asking you this specific question
It's a
before, and
contract.
you said, sure, I don't know what the contract is regarding then, right? Like,
Asset.
seems to...
assets.
something.
It's regarding to so when you
the
buy a
assets
stock
of what?
of the company, so the owner
Anything.
owns the
I mean,
okay, so owner buys up all these assets, and then stockholders basically he sells off a portion of those assets, and then a portion of the money that those assets generate goes to the stock owner and stuff like that, and then it's just like an agreement between the owner of the company, who is just basically the owner of the assets, who's then stocking it out.
Okay, but you own assets. Like when you say owning assets, right? Like the company itself is seen as an asset, so it's divvied up.
In this,
Right,
when you
so
say a
when you look
company,
at-
it's just
Yeah,
a word
okay,
for
no,
the thing that's making money. In the sense, like let's say I have a
Yeah.
building that's like a gym, right? And I get money from memberships. The business is just that building, right? And all that stuff that's making money. It isn't like that's just a colloquial term that we call, oh, that's the business.
That's not true either.
Yeah,
It's
okay,
an
wait, hold
abstract
on.
entity
Yeah, I wouldn't.
with
yeah,
an
I wouldn't say you-
evaluation.
I wouldn't say you own like stocks. I would say like the stocks are like a contractual thing.
Sure, but like, okay, the amount of revenue that's baked in by this abstract entity that we call a company, based on this revenue, and we're able to like evaluate the company and say, okay, this is the evaluation based on assets, liabilities that are related to said company, right? Even in legal terms, corporations are treated as individuals in the sense that the corporation can have a contract, not just one person in the corporation to like another person outside of said corporation, but corporations themselves are seen as contractual individuals, legally speaking. I guess maybe you're saying in ANCAP
We would
it
not
wouldn't be
agree
that
with
way.
that.
Yeah,
You wouldn't
I'll probably
Because
just reject
because a
that.
company is not a person. A person is a person. You know what I mean? So that doesn't make sense to us.
You think individual and person is synonymous?
Yeah, right. There's only one individual person. A person is an individual, right?
Well, I just mean like, can animals be individuals? Can
Oh,
can
what,
have
you know
them-
what I'm trying to say. Whatever. Don't do
Not
that.
not
That-
if
don't do
individual
that.
means person.
Yeah, what I'm talking about people here. Okay. So
No,
a company is
right, I
not
mean,
a
if you
person. It's just a
suppose-
person.
If
a
you
person
presuppose
owns
that
the
individual
stuff.
means person, then I guess individual means person. I'm just saying, I don't know if that's
Oh
not
my
that
God.
necessarily follows.
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
my
Individual
God.
just means singular, right?
Well, individual
Yeah,
can
that's what I would say.
individual
Yeah,
can have different
I'm
definitions.
confused about like, whatever.
Yeah, whatever.
Individual can be an adjective or it can be a noun. As a noun, I think it means person.
Sometimes
I at
people
least
say
have-
people and they say individuals. Sometimes I say individual.
Well, but
As a
like,
person.
imagine I have like, I have a 6-pack, right? I say, I have this one individual beer in my hand. Would you say that's like improper language? Because it seems like.
No.
fine.
No, I wouldn't say that, but sometimes I say individual as a person. Like sometimes I'll be like, oh, that's an individual because they're a person, one singular person.
Individual can be used
It could
in
be
an
used in different ways.
adjective form.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, this is fine. I'm just so I don't know. I think like as far as
I don't see
when
why
you
that was
said
relevant.
when you said digital things, like I get the point with digital things. You can't come in conflict over them because in my mind, I thought you were talking about like intellectual property, like software or something. But it seems less clear with resources that are limited, like if there's a limited amount of Bitcoin. But I guess
I
you
agree.
wouldn't actually have a limited amount of Bitcoin because Bitcoin. Yeah, how could you have a limited amount of Bitcoin? That's
Wait, there
actually
is
a
a
good
limited amount of
question.
Bitcoin.
No, I guess under ANCAP, that's what I'm asking. Like, how could you have a limited amount of Bitcoin?
I don't think the idea of limited works with Bitcoin because it's not a physical object, right? I mean, but if you mean
But
in
as
the
it,
sense that there isn't an infinite amount of Bitcoin, in the sense that the number on the screen shows there's not a number, like, I don't know how that works.
Wait, how what works?
Whether or not there's an unlimited amount of Bitcoin in the sense of like the digital currency, I really don't know. I would have to ask ChatGPT that. Let me ask.
I mean, to my knowledge, it's like the 21 million coins or whatever have all been mined. So there's no more that you get, like that you can get. But
Is that true?
Yeah, isn't there only so many there's only so many Bitcoins that can
yeah, I
be
think
mined?
it's.
Can't you
I think
divide
it's,
up the bitcoins, Bo? Be like really small.
They do get divided. Yeah, they do get divided. But in terms of the total amount of Bitcoin, I think it's just 21 million. Sounds right. And that's like all that's been mined. I think you can't mine. Let me actually look.
You
Has
can't mine
all
anymore. That's like the
Bitcoin been
limit.
So what
mined?
happens
That's
after
the
you
point.
can't mine anymore?
If they
Actually,
made it
not
such that
all. So I'm wrong about this. 20 million have been mined. There's like 1 million more that haven't been mined. But
So what happens after it's not? What happens after you can't mine anymore?
then that's all the Bitcoin that you have, and it just fluctuates on the market, right? You can they have the Bitcoins and stuff, or whatever, but you can't get any more. But it looks like that all of the Bitcoin won't be completely generated until the year 2140.
1,140.
Yeah,
That's
that year.
That's a while.
2140. Yeah.
We'll all be long gone by then.
I don't know about you guys, but I can't die. But
Dark Karl Marx can't die.
I cannot.
What is this sorcery? How is this possible?
I just know I'm living forever. I don't know about you guys, but
Are you following that one guy, the one guy who spends millions of dollars trying to make himself live longer?
No, that guy's definitely an ANCAP though. That's definitely ANCAP shit.
I feel like what he's doing is based. Not gonna lie.
Of course you would, because you're an ANCAP.
But no, it's not because I'm an ANCAP. I think that, well, I mean, maybe, but I think that fundamentally, like, if he can prove certain things to be, like, to make our lives live longer, and then that's not a bad thing, you know what I mean? Like, if he actually figures out a way to make himself actually live a long time, that could be really good.
What now?
So, or it could blow up, or he could just die by getting hit by a car or some shit, and then it was all for nothing.
You know, Doggo, I'm actually curious. What's the anarcho-capitalist position on like hacking? That's like completely ethical. There's no such thing as unethical hacking in that, because you can't violate the NAP by hacking people's computers.
Only if they're like literally like changing like the physical thing. Like if you're hacking, I'll probably like say if you're hacking like someone's account on like a video game, probably can't see unless that's like literally changing something physical. I don't see how that could be like aggression. But if we have like if I like hack someone's computer and to like make it like I literally like change the physical integrity of it, like it like blows up or something, well that's like aggression.
What do you mean? Like you make it blow up?
Like I changed the like physical structure I harm it, I like damage it, right?
So I guess hardware hacking, right? That would be like something that would be unethical if you did something to the hardware. But from a software perspective, if you got into someone's computer or you hacked a bunch of companies and their like databases, got a bunch of people's personal information, drained all their credit cards or whatever, right? Like that's completely ethical.
Well, like draining people's credit cards, I would say that like in regards to like that is
Assuming it's like
things, right?
Yeah, assuming it's like Bitcoin or something, right? It's some digital currency, then that's completely ethical, as long as it's not pegged to gold or silver.
Yeah, and like first glance, it probably seems fine.
It wouldn't be an aggression, but I would say it's kind of fucked up, like personally.
I don't see how that wouldn't be aggression.
Because it doesn't violate the non-aggression principle, right?
Look, wait, Cameron, I'm actually curious here.
Oh,
so, like, if it,
Doggo and I were arguing about this.
Wait, if it is the case that we can't have conflicts over this room, right? Then when aggression is called initiating conflict, right? So how is it the case that they're not initiating conflict when they closed on this room?
Because it was theirs.
How does that mean that they're not initiating the conflict?
Because it's not like the idea is supposed to be that like we don't necessarily have a right like to stay in the room or whatever, like do certain things.
Right, but like let's say they don't want us to be in this room. Like we break server TOS. Like the second we break server TOS, like if we advocate for I think like half of the things anarcho-capitalism stands for, we're breaking Discord TOS, and thus we're against server rules. Are we criminals now?
I don't know. I have to think about that more.
Yeah, that is a good
I guess
question.
here's one for you, Doggo. So if you hack into, oh sorry, go ahead, Cameron.
The chat, but I'm not sure how to respond to that.
Oh shit! We just committed an aggression.
Doggo, so here's a question I have for you. So going back to like the peg to gold currency thing, if you were to hack a company and you like let's say moved numbers around on their spreadsheets or in their like journal entries for their accounting, and this was actually tied to like gold or silver, the like whatever currency they had was tied to gold or silver, would that still be an act of aggression because you're only changing the digital representation?
It has no effect on something physical?
Well, it would have an effect over their understanding of something physical, because like now in their accounting it looks like all the accounts are like all over the place, right? Numbers got moved around, or numbers got erased or whatever, right? Like they deleted a bunch of numbers and then deleted backups of those numbers or something, right? They maybe erased all the information on the server at and
what
it
was
all.
What was the original hypothetical again?
Oh, so you hack a company or a bank, financial institution, whatever, and then let's say you just like delete all the numbers in their accounting ledgers, and that money is actually like the kind of currency they're using is pegged to like let's say gold, right? So now it looks like nobody has any, like digitally it looks like nobody has any money, right? Because you like deleted all the information that would inform us on who has what.
Well, it seems like there's some like seems like that would probably go under like some kind of fraud here, because you're like misrepresenting like the nature of something physical, which would like lead to aggression, which would then like be conflict inducing.
You think that would be aggression?
Yeah, seems like because you're like misrepresenting the nature of someone's property, that would then lead to conflict. So this seems like there's like some kind of like fraudulent thing, like probably going to fraud.
In that same way, if you were to go into like, let's say a kid hacked their school and like changed their grade up or down, would that be an act of aggression because it's
I don't know,
like a misrepresentation?
Well,
like
the
they
misrepresentation would only be about something physical. It would have to be something someone owns, right? And like grades, like I don't see how that would affect anything.
Okay.
I don't think this goes into a realm of legality either. I think the kid just needs to be disciplined academically. He's found cheating.
He needs an ass
maybe
whooping.
Well, I mean he didn't break the NAP, so I don't even know why he would have to be disciplined, but
No, I meant like academically, not like because the NAP is legal, right? So
the NAP is ethical, right?
Law is a subset of ethics.
Law is a subset of, yeah.
It's a subset of
I like
ethic
how
that
every
deals
ANCAP
with.
has like the same response to that.
Yeah, like it's a subset of ethic that deals with like what ought not, like what should be, what whether or not force should be used to stop a person from doing something.
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Where does the
I kind of
idea
said that
that,
in the
like-
wrong way, but you get what I mean.
Where does the idea that law is a subset of ethics come from?
It comes from a page from Rothbard.
Gotcha.
And I heard it from Zulu, but I'm pretty sure he got it from Rothbard.
Everyone's heard it from Zulu, probably. Do you know where Rothbard said it? Just out of
Yeah,
curiosity.
it's in his
Ethics
paper
of
on
Liberty.
pollution. I can find it. Here, law, property rights, and air pollution. If ethics is a normative discipline that identifies and classifies certain sets of actions as good or evil, right or wrong, then tort or criminal law is a subset of ethics identifying certain actions as appropriate for using violence against them. It's page 3 here. Set inside chat.
It's page which one?
3.
Okay.
You're gonna be an ANCAP soon, Dark. Don't worry.
Obviously, I won't be an ANCAP.
Soon. Don't worry, bro. Just gotta read more ANCAP stuff. You should read Zulu's course.
I'll be honest, right? Liquid Zulu has got to be one of the least intelligent people I've spoken to on the internet. So there's no way I would read his
Less
course,
intelligent than
right?
me?
You're pretty stupid, but he might beat you. He might beat you a little bit.
Come on.
In terms of, because you want to know what's interesting, right? Like, you are, he's a certain level of stupid that he's not aware of any level of his stupidity. I think you at least understand that you don't really know anything. I think you generally get that, even though you like to talk about the stuff, you like to debate. Liquid Zulu thinks he knows stuff, and this is like at the very start of the Dunning-Kruger effect, right? If you look at that graph,
Okay.
he's all the way at the beginning. That's what it is.
So you feel like he doesn't know what he's talking about.
He has no clue. He has no clue about anything. He's really a dumb guy. I mean, yeah, he's really a dumb guy.
Whereas you think that I'm a dumb guy, but you think that I at least know that I'm not that smart.
I think you know you're a little. I think you know you're kind of dumb. I think you kind of have an idea that you're kind of dumb, which is okay. That's not a permanent state either.
I'm not.
Right? You can,
I'm not disagreeing with you on that because I
But
do
it's
say
also-
that. I do say that. You know what I'm saying?
But when I
So,
say dumb, I don't mean this is something
what you're saying.
inherent to your character. Yeah,
I get what you're saying.
yeah, I think stupidity is overall just like a temporary state. But
I think what
yeah,
you're
Zulu
really
is-
saying is that I disagree with you and you don't like that, so you call it stupid.
no,
Dark, I'm curious, have you read Hegel?
I have not. No.
That's really what it feels like, Dark.
Yeah, I mean that's not what I mean. There's tons of people I disagree with. Like I actually disagree with Jerkman on a bunch of stuff, right? Like obviously he's knowledgeable on a bunch of stuff that I'm not, or even that Ryan Del Falco guy.
Well,
right?
I'll
He's
admit
like-
I'm not like crazy knowledgeable about everything ANCAP. Like I'll admit that. I'm pretty knowledgeable. Like I know the basics of everything. Like I could have a good conversation with your average person and talk to them about things. But I think when you go into the super deep stuff, like super deep like things, that's when I have a hard time.
I mean, Doggo honestly gives better responses than Liquid Zulu does when any of us talk to him about stuff. Like, Doggo, you probably noticed in the Ask ANCAP thing that your boy just gives bad answers to everything. Is that his MO? Or what?
I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch the one where... I mean, I talked to him twice. Maybe you didn't watch either of those.
Yeah, I
Did you-
watched one of them. But I don't
Did you-
remember like there being something like specific about his responses.
Do you remember where Jerkman was like LARPing along the
Yeah, I
learner
do
model?
remember that.
Okay, and he was just a fucking idiot, right?
I like Sula like pretty much admits he's like kind of literate on econ.
Okay, and then do you remember the one the God Gift hopped on?
What was his point again? Oh yeah, that was about fractional reserve. Yeah, he
Yeah.
just said like if you just call it like if you just like don't call it a bank, then you're fine. I think that's like a fine response.
Okay.
Whether or not it was fraud.
Whether or not it was fraud, I don't. I guess I
Yeah,
don't
because
see.
he like asked
I don't
whether or
see
not
how.
fractional reserve banking was fraud or not, and then Sulu just said if you don't call it a bank, it should be fine.
Okay, well that seems stupid. I guess we could go back and watch that conversation because I think Godgift walked all over him. And I asked him, I think that was the day I asked him some basic stuff about like common ownership, and he had really bad answers. And he kept doing this is what he does every time. He keeps doing the stick shit, right? It's Crusoe and Friday with a stick. And I'm like, well, how about this particular example of like, this Nepalese irrigation system? And he's like, well, how about this? How about this? How about you just imagine there's a guy with a stick on an island? All right, the guy with the stick on an island. It's like, okay, dude. Hey,
I feel like that gets kind of to the core of the issue.
Well,
right?
he goes away from any empirical example I provide. I'm trying to ask him, like, I want, because I think it took you a minute, Doggo, but you're able to engage with it a little better now.
I answered
where
that
I
question.
I asked, yeah. I mean, you kind of got stuck on it a couple times, but here's the thing. When I'm asking about a hypothetical that has like never existed throughout human history, then it doesn't seem very helpful to understand the human world.
Do you think there's never been conflicts over sticks before?
Probably probably not, right? Probably not.
What?
A spear is a
probably
stick, right?
not.
People have conflicts, so I'm pretty sure two people have had a conflict over a spear, right?
Wait, did you really just say probably not to whether or not someone has
Probably
ever
not.
had a conflict?
I mean,
over a stick?
I can just like debunk this right now. Me and my little brother have had many conflicts over like really cool shaped sticks in the forest, right? When we were small, because I would want the one that was like shaped like a gun, but he also wanted the one that was shaped like a gun. But I wanted one that was shaped like a gun. He would have the one that's like shaped like a sword, right? And, obviously, I won this conflict, but just to be clear, like these conflicts did happen.
Yeah,
Easy
bro.
debunk.
Yeah, bro.
Debunked. No, as far as so you won this conflict because you were the first comer.
Yeah, I'm older than him. I could push him on the ground. And,
No. That's not.
He had the might. That's why he won.
Okay, but that's not what they mean either by like who's the true owner of the stick. If your brother still found that stick, he thinks they would say he's the true owner.
We both stumbled upon it like identically, like we were walking together and we both like
No. What we're trying to hold on.
Well, because the question was about ownership. Like I even asked him, okay, in ANCAP society, one of the questions I asked him is like, how do you go about? And it's funny. He just said that you would use violence to like distribute property to people, like redistribute property. That was his actual answer. But beyond that, I even asked, okay, how do we go about finding who the legitimate owner is of like this Nepalese irrigation system, right? Who owns it, or is it unowned? And if it's unowned, then can the people still like manage it collectively, or they don't even have an exclusive right to manage it? Anybody could go ahead and destroy it, right? And that would be fine. Or, like I asked them these questions of how do we figure out legitimate owners, because not more than one person can own something. And I used the example of the Nepalese irrigation system that like Eleanor Ostrom talks about in Governing the Commons, right?
So like it's incomprehensible for you to imagine two people having a conflict over a stick. That's like incomprehensible for you, you're saying.
It doesn't have anything to do with the real world, right? There's no.
So what you're saying is it's incomprehensible to you. Like you can't even comprehend the idea of two people.
It just has nothing to do with the real world, right? Like obviously.
This guy's conflict with his little brother, right? Do you think this did not happen in the real world?
He's saying him and his brother. If by conflict you mean he
They tried
like
to
his
use
brother
two.
picked up a
They tried to
stick.
use two. Both two people tried to use the same scarce resource in contradictory ways.
No, that's incomprehensible.
So
do
here's
not
the thing,
interrupt our
right?
conversation, please.
Sorry.
Obviously,
stop, please?
obviously, children can fight over things. That's like fine. What I'm asking about is like economic resources, and what I'm talking about is not
So you
Robinson
didn't-
Crusoe, who
wait,
never
so
existed.
let's just be clear. You didn't
Robinson
really answer
Crusoe,
the
who
question.
never existed. Okay, sure. Him and his brother fought over a stick, and that's a conflict. That's fine. It doesn't really
Okay,
matter.
so people can have
It has
conflicts over
nothing
a
to do
stick,
with the real
right?
world, though, right?
No,
Like,
they can't.
obviously, we're
That
talking
did
about
happen in the real world.
I don't know. It's like a little.
No,
bit
it's like it's literally
So that
children.
didn't happen
It's,
in the
okay.
real world.
No, it's
Well-
children. Okay.
Oh, okay.
So,
So,
like,
children,
when children
don't exist. Is that what you're saying?
No, they don't.
The reason I remember
Wait,
is that's
who
like a
are
big
all
ass
these people
like,
jumping in and talking all at once?
I don't know.
And that,
Don't fucking talk over KingSithis. Fucking
what the
asshole.
hell is going on? Do I
So
gotta
anyways,
mute
when I
everybody?
when I say it doesn't have anything to do with the real world, obviously we're talking about economic resources, and this guy wants to talk about
A stick is not
someone
an
who's never
economic
existed with a
resource?
stick. Dude, no, two
Like, can we all
children
define
fighting
what
over a
stick is
stick.
in this?
Tomatoes.
Okay, this guy's
Make
funny.
something an economic
But-
resource.
Yeah, so something that, like I don't know, we could look at a resource that's used either for like production or consumption,
I could
or
use
is being
you could use a
distributed in
stick
some
for
way.
production, right?
Has
But
this
that's
guy
not
ever heard
that's
of,
not what
okay.
that's not okay. That's not what the children are doing when him and his
I mean,
little brother.
I
Producing
haven't
fun.
encountered
What they're
examples,
doing
though.
is
I
they're
mean,
producing fun.
I also have like encountered examples where, like,
Producing fun. Okay.
clearly,
I
so
guess.
clearly, like chopsticks are both sticks and like meant for
What is that?
consumption, right?
Somebody's
So he's,
hot micing. I'm not. Jerkman is. I think that
yeah,
might be you.
it's just Jerkman, yeah. So clearly, a
Jerkman might
chopstick
be
is,
driving.
clearly a chopstick is both a stick and like designed for like consumption and like used in consumption. So that meets both of your criteria.
A
for an
spear
economic resource.
is something that you could use to stab an animal and eat it, right? And that's a stick.
A spear is something that you could use to stab an animal and eat it. That's fine. So I'm talking about the.
I love how you just like completely
the
gloss
Robinson
over
Friday
that like
example.
obvious fact that I just pointed out. Like,
Sithis, when you don't understand that if I bring up a particular example of like a commonly owned resource, and then the dodge is, well, check it out, Robinson Crusoe and Friday and a stick. First off, none
it's
of these
not
people
a
either.
dodge. It's something that
None of them ever existed. The island
Okay.
never existed. Nobody spent 20
Okay.
years alone on an island.
Okay.
Right? They weren't fighting over a stick. It never
People have
happened.
never
It's
fought
just
over a
bunch
stick.
of-
Wait,
Gotcha.
hold on. So wait, so the falsified this claim would be finding someone who spent 20 years on an island alone?
It would be.
You never seen the movie? You never seen the movie Castaway?
It's hilarious.
You never seen the movie Castaway?
How many years did Robinson Crusoe spend on an island? How many years was it?
Wait, isn't
no
there an
idea.
island called the Sentinelese
It
Island?
was literally
What
like
about the Sentinelese Island?
it was
Don't they
like-
fight over spears?
No, I'm sure they do
28
not
years,
do that.
28
That's-
years.
They've been there
Okay,
for
yeah,
like
so you
hundreds
you
of years.
obviously couldn't find me. You obviously couldn't find me an example of someone who spent 28 years alone on an
Oh,
island. right?
I'm gonna try and actually look for this.
Okay, you obviously won't find it, right? But okay, with North Sentinelese Island, they're not there alone. They probably have an economic system where they share spears. Because what the fuck would you do?
So,
It doesn't even
okay,
make
so they
sense.
never. So two people on the Sentinelese Island never had a dispute over a stick or anything. Like they just share everything, and everything's just jolly, and sunshine and rainbows. I'm sure, right?
Yes, they probably share. They probably share spear. It literally makes no sense to not share spears.
What if there's
Like,
two people? Okay, so let's say there's one
Right.
spear and one person wants to use it for one thing, and then another person
hold
wants to
on.
use it for another thing. What do they do? Like, what do you think they would do?
Wait, I found an example. Look at this. This guy spent 32 years alone on an island.
Hey, look at this guy. He even looks like it. Look at he's rugged as hell.
Is this our ANCAP prodigy?
Hell yeah! Look at the stream, guys. Look, just for the stream. BBC visit.
All right, what is his name?
Yeah, so this would be Mauro Morandi.
Mr. Morandi.
All right, let's take a look.
Morandi. He spent 32 years on
Why?
the island alone.
As if this changes anything.
How's this gig gets here? I didn't like read the article. I just like looked it up, and this is the first thing that came up.
Ay.
He wasn't
Hopefully it's not
even
lying.
okay. He didn't even live alone on the island. I just looked this up.
No,
It
it's
says-
lying. This is so
It
sad.
says he took.
Oh
It says he
my
took care of the
God.
flora on the island, cleaned the beaches, and educated tourists about the island's ecosystem. So there were like tourists that came through.
Oh
There were,
my
like-
God.
and it
Well,
looked
wait a minute.
like-
What about the Sentinelese Island? You don't think that, like, let's say there's 2 Sentinelese, and then one wants to use a stick for fishing, and the other one wants to use a stick for a spear, and they have a dispute. Like, what do you think is gonna happen? You think they're just gonna like teleport into each other, and like, what do you think is gonna happen?
They probably have their own system of governance. Nobody knows about that island, so it's really difficult to
So there's
speculate.
gonna have like
I could
some
talk
way
about.
to
I
settle
could
the
talk
dispute.
about some of the other systems in the Andaman Islands, right? And some of the other systems like
But
what you
obviously,
do
they
see.
both can't use the same spear at the same time, right?
They both can't use the same spear at the same time. They totally could. They could both be holding the spear. It could be a double-ended
Okay,
spear.
okay. So
Or
let
they
me be
could
more
both-
precise. They can't use the same spear for contradictory ends.
Sure, that's fine.
Okay, so if they both have a dispute,
But they
over
can
this-
use it. They can both do it for something different, though. So,
that's-
like,
well,
okay,
wait. That's I don't care about that. That's not what we're talking about. What we're talking about is
right.
So what we're talking about is whether or not you could use the same spear for contradictory ends. Obviously, you cannot. So because you cannot do that, obviously, if they have a dispute, only one of them could win out in that dispute, right?
Right. So here's the thing, though.
Right. Okay.
when it-
So now that you said right to that, so because of that,
Oh, wait.
we have to determine who is the owner. So we have to figure out who has the right to use that thing.
Wait, hold on. Check this. Look at the inhabitant part. Wait,
Of
this
this?
from one human inhabitant from 1989 to 2018.
Boom.
Wait, hold on. Let me reach further. Wait, hold on. Let me see if it's actually only one. Settlement an hour away by boat. Oh. Why is there
Yeah,
always someone
okay, so
else?
it's-
Why is there always someone else? This is so
There's always
horrible.
someone else.
There's always someone else. It's unfortunate, right?
Yeah,
Not
but
no
obviously,
Robinson
when it comes to
Crusoe.
scarce property, people
No
can
atomized
go.
individual. No atomized individual,
So
right?
you agree,
Friday,
people?
wait,
We
Friday.
already, but
Friday
wait,
someone
Pog,
else.
Pog. We've already gotten. I've
I
already
thought
gotten him.
something else.
I've already gotten him
Dude,
to agree
GPT's
that we
doing some heavy
can
lifting
have
here.
a dispute over a stick. Like obviously, I've already gotten him to agree to that.
Okay, this is not. It has nothing to do with the real world when we're talking about economic systems of organization.
Oh my
and
God! You make
ownership.
me want to bang my head against the wall with this stupid fucking line of that you keep saying over and over again. As if
Because
two
nobody's fighting over sticks. Like this is
Oh,
like
okay.
it's so
Okay.
absurd. The
Okay.
example of fighting over sticks you had to provide was children. Okay, sure, all right.
Oh,
I'm willing
I
to grant
literally
children
talked
do
about
this.
the Sentinelese Island, and you agreed with it. So don't
Dude,
even talk
in
that
this
now.
un- no.
That's some
First off,
nonsense. You forgot about the one you agreed to and brought up the one you disagreed with to try to forget to obfuscate. Wow, good job, bro.
so KingSithis, right?
Good job.
Here's how this works. Nobody
Yeah,
knows
tell me how
about
it
the North
works.
Sentinel. Okay, no one knows about North Sentinel Island. They don't
No.
know anything about it. We don't
Do
have
I need to know
information.
every?
However,
Wait. Do I need to know every
hold on,
detail?
dude. Hold
No,
on
no,
for a
no.
minute.
Do I need to
Okay,
know?
so
Just
it
answer
doesn't
this one
matter.
question. Do I need to know every detail about the Sentinelese Island to know if there's 2 people and 1 stick on the Sentinelese Island? They're gonna have and they want to use it in contradictory means. They're gonna have that means they have a dispute, right? Do I need to know every detail about the island in order to know that?
Let me know if you want me to respond.
Go ahead and answer the question.
Okay. So, if I respond, I need you to not interrupt me. Okay, that's what I need.
Just answer the
So
question that I just asked you.
But you're gonna interrupt me once I answer it. So
I
the
just wanna
answer
Chris
is
to know.
no. Okay.
Okay, there you go. Thank you.
However, and there you go. Okay. So, however, you need to know the system of decision making that is used on this island. So, what we know amongst the other Andaman islands, like the Akabo people,
That's not the
are
point.
like Andamanese
It's
people.
not the point.
We have information about how their systems of governance operated, right? And it was a horizontal system of organization. So that under that system of governance, you had consensus decision making by members of the community in regards to how they like hunted, right? how they
you
made
do realize
decisions
none
about
of this
allocating
matters.
resources.
You've agreed with
Okay,
my premise, so all of it matters. So fundamentally, if you have a stick and there's two people that want to use it for contradictory means, they have to find there has to be some way to settle that dispute. How you settle that dispute doesn't fucking matter. The fact of the matter is we live in a world of scarce resources, so only one person could have the right to use that scarce resource in a contradictory way at the time, and the person who has the right to do that is the owner, thus making owner a
Okay, when you say a contradictory way,
physical,
you just mean using it, right? But you just mean using it as like one thing.
And some sort of exclusionary way.
But you don't have to, like, two people can obviously use it in a way that doesn't exclude the other person, right? They can totally do this at the same time, simultaneously, for different
disputing
purposes.
that. I'm not disputing that.
Right,
Two
okay,
people can both touch the same thing. What I'm saying is only one person can use it in an exclusionary way.
Yeah.
And that's what ownership way. Ownership is the right to use a scarce resource.
But when you say
in an
only
exclusionary way. And only one person, and that's what ownership, have we define it. In libertarian ethics, it's defined as the right to exclude other people from a scarce resource. Only one person can do that.
If nobody's excluded, then it's not a problem, right? It doesn't apply.
That's not what I'm talking about. It's not what we're disputing.
Right.
What we're disputing is the definition of ownership.
if there's no like possible way that like two people could use it in like contradictory ways, and it's not a scarce resource.
Yeah. That would mean that we're NPCs in a video game that could float in between each other. But obviously, that's not the world we live in. We live in a world in which there are two people can't use the same scarce resource in contradictory ways. So therefore, the ownership is defined as having the right to use it in a scarce resource in an exclusionary way. That's how we define it. That's how we always have defined it. That's how we always will define it.
Yeah.
What would you ask?
So
I'm glad you get it now.
When I talk about the Robinson Crusoe and Friday example being stupid, the whole point is that it's not representative of how any adults have behaved throughout human history. Right? They just don't operate
two
this
people
way.
can't.
There's no human societies.
There's no example.
There's no human societies that are modeled after this.
Okay, there's no real world situation where two people have a dispute over a scarce resource and they can't use it in contradictory ways. Yeah, I got you. No problem. If that's what you believe,
I feel like you would be so
fine.
much. You would do so much better if you were more curious about things. You know.
Hi,
dude,
Sithis.
I'm sorry. I'm
Sorry
not going
to
to join your
interrupt
fucking
your conversation.
communist
Which
cult.
server are you playing on?
I'm playing on Warmate.
I just think you should read information about anything, right? Like, I feel like you're just not interested in anything scientific. You know. Do you read anything related to any of the sciences?
It's not something that interests me.
Of course, right? You're just like not a curious person. So you say asinine things every once in a while, right? Like this. It's just.
I just
so
love that you
confused.
like made a really dumb argument, and now you're resorting to like.
You're so dumb argument, dude. You keep saying
calling me all like sorts of saying that I'm not curious about things. What I mean. So what? What's wrong with not being curious about something? I shouldn't have to be curious about everything.
I have a question for you.
Sometimes
what is like
I'm not curious about lesbian dance theory. You know what I'm saying? I don't really
what's
care
like
about
a legal system that approximates the values that you care about? Like, do you have any examples or?
Right now, I mean, I don't have any examples off the top of my head.
Okay, that's kind of strange. Like, wouldn't you want to know, like, if this has been tried or?
I mean, if you have any examples that you want to show me, you're more than welcome to.
No, I don't know. I mean, like, there's probably a reason if it's never happened, though. Like, people have experimented in all types of ways, right? Like, could you kind of imagine why there hasn't been? A legal
so you're
system?
making the argument, therefore, I mean, it's never worked in the past, so therefore it can't work in the future.
No, I'm not. I'm just asking, like, why do you think it hasn't happened?
I don't know. You tell me.
I don't know. I'm just asking you to think. It's not like I got you. I'm just curious what your thoughts are.
I don't know if it hasn't happened yet, so I can't tell you.
How could you find out?
By going out and doing the research.
Yeah, maybe reading a book. It might help you.
Okay, so what is this? Like, is this like an insult?
You brought up the North Sentinel Islands, right? And then when I'm educating you about Andaman Islands and how like the Akabo people operate a system of governance, and you're just like,
oh, a problem with the education.
I don't care. So you're telling me nobody can have a stick and another guy wants that stick?
I didn't have a problem. I didn't have a problem with your education. I had a problem with the fact that you're example had nothing to do with the point, and that was my issue.
Because you asked me about one of the Andaman Islands that nobody knows anything about, the best
Oh my God, you make me wanna hang
approximation that
myself,
we
bro.
have. Okay, you're welcome to feel that way, right? But the closest approximation that we have of North Sentinel Island is the surrounding Andaman Islands. And so I'm telling you how like a group on one of these islands operates, and it's not the case that they're fighting over fucking sticks. Like you can't,
Dude, I'm
no-
not. Oh my God, you just don't get
No,
it, bro. The point was about ownership and how ownership is a singular thing. I'm not talking about that every culture fights over sticks or people fight over sticks on a day-to-day basis. I was just using that example as a way to show that ownership, as how we define it under the libertarian ethic, is a singular thing. And if you don't get that at this point, I mean, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah, like John wants
I've explained this like 20 times already to you. If you don't get this,
What other
point,
human
it's pretty
societies
disappointing.
have had this conception of ownership? Can you name another human society that had this conception
Dude,
of ownership?
Why does that matter?
Okay.
Why does it matter?
So it's just not, when I say it doesn't have anything to do with
Why does it
reality, that's
matter?
what I mean.
No, okay. I mean, why does it matter?
If John
Because we're talking about the real world, and my objection to the Robinson Crusoe Friday example.
Let's say there was a bunch of societies that did look at it that way. Would that somehow change whether or not it's right or not? Or
Just let him talk, bro.
That's so
You was
stupid.
fucking mid-sentence. You just started yabbering, bro. Let him talk.
Yeah, my thing is, when my objection to the Robinson Crusoe and Friday example, when I say it has nothing to do with reality, there are no human societies that have had this conception of ownership or property, and you're just saying, well, it should be this way, it ought to be this way. I think that's a really bad argument when you're arguing about how human societies should be organized, and we have no examples of people ever conceiving of property ownership or anything in this manner.
yeah, your response just shows that you fundamentally don't understand the point that I was making. I was making a point about when I bring Robinson Crusoe's points up, it is to show that when there's two people having a dispute over a scarce resource and they want to use it in contradictory ways, only one person can win out in that dispute. Obviously, things like that do happen in the real world. People do have disputes over scarce resources in the real world. So using Robinson Crusoe's as an example I don't think it's not analogous to things that happen in the real world, because people do have disputes over scarce resources in the real world. We just use the stick as an example to sort of make it easier. But the fact that you responded in that way just shows me that you still don't understand it. After the 20th time that I've explained it to you, I'm not putting forth when I was explaining that only one person could have the ability to exclude another, use a scarce resource in an exclusionary way. That's not bringing forth an ethic. That's just physics and the fact that two people can't use a same scarce resource in a exclusionary way. So the fact that you brought up ethics in this just really shows that you don't understand a word that I was saying. So if after me explaining it to you after a fourth time, you still don't understand it, then I don't know what to tell you.
Right. So maybe you don't know why the Robinson Crusoe example gets brought up. It's because of the first comer and late comer ethic, right? That's the whole point. It's not simply about the fact that, there's one object and you can't use it in a contradictory way. From there, you conclude that it is the first comer that's legitimate owner of said property, right? It's a whole property ethics argument. What I'm critiquing is that this has nothing to do with how human societies have conceived of ownership or property. When I say it has nothing to do with the real world, that's what I mean.
If you say so.
So, Turkman Godgift, I found something out from Doggo, which was in Anarcho-capitalism, hacking people's computers is like fine. It's like,
well, he said it depends on how you do it. If you're
like
taking,
you said, if you wanted to
if you're taking information, no. But if you're using, like, if you're detonating someone's computer, if you're hacking it and then detonating their computer, then yeah, because you're damaging their property. So he said, it depends.
Right. As long as you don't detonate the computer. But he said that, like, as long as it doesn't interfere with how like things are allocated IRL, I guess, then it's fine.
If it doesn't
But if
interfere with
you,
your actual physical property.
right, but you can like take everyone's personal information, or like you can dox them. You can do whatever you want as far as getting into people's like personal computer information.
Well, actually, it isn't illegal to dox someone now.
Well, I'm talking about ethically, and it depends actually.
Well, no, it isn't illegal to dox someone. You are that's publicly available. I mean, you are allowed to tell other people another person's address.
Well, so like it depends, right? If you're like harassing someone, right?
Information that is like expected to be private, you're not allowed to, like, you can get like sued for like exposing that. So it's just depending on like how open it is. Like if people like go out of the way to make their information private, and you still go like
But either way, I think that fundamentally, I think it's up to you to keep your information private. If somebody finds it, I mean, that's up to them. Now, if they do something to you that affects you in real life and your property, then yeah, that's a crime, obviously. But information is just information.
Oh no, if they get you fired from your job or something, that's fine. You have no problem with that. That doesn't violate the NAP.
I wouldn't be happy about it, but it's not an aggression. No, I mean, getting someone fired from their job is not initiation of force. No.
Or if they get you like kicked out of your apartment building or something.
I mean, I wouldn't be happy about it, but no, it wouldn't be, because the owner.
Doesn't
I mean, it
violate
really
the
just
NAP.
no, because it depends on it depends on if who's the owner of the house.
Yeah, but like legally in ANCAP, you can't even do anything about it.
No. I mean, if somebody doesn't want you in their house anymore, like, what are you gonna do? Like, force them to let you stay? That's kind of fucked.
No, but you couldn't sue the person that doxed you, or sent an AI generated video of you saying something that you didn't say. You couldn't do anything to like sue that person.
No, we don't believe in like defamation or nothing like that.
Really, even if
Right.
someone like made an AI generated video of you covered in honey, that would be okay.
Well, it depends on what you mean. Okay, I mean, I'm gonna say it's not an aggression. I'll say that, but I mean, I probably wouldn't be happy about it.
Well, would you consider it a transgression though?
Transgression? What's that mean? Like,
I'm
it's
not
annoying.
sure. Like,
It may be annoying. It may be like
okay,
weird.
so I mean, if someone like ruined your life like through all of these like non-aggressive like ways, and just like tanks your mental health such that like you commit suicide, are they like responsible for your death?
Like, not in a legal sense, no. But
Okay.
I would say they were like in a personal sense, like from my personal perspective, I would say like, yeah, that kind of they did that.
So presumably in an ideal world, like they should be like punished for that, right?
Ideally, no, because and whether or not you should be punished depends on whether or not you're initiating a conflict, and I don't think that's.
I mean, that just like doesn't seem to be like true. Like if there seems to be like non-conflictory ways to just like torture someone mentally, and like that just like doesn't seem like okay.
Oh yeah, what about
Torturing
cyberbullying?
somebody
So like,
mentally?
I guess
Torturing somebody mentally. I mean,
yeah, children are being cyberbullied, and there's like an epidemic of cyberbullying and children killing themselves in
Get off the internet.
anarcho-capitalism. Yeah,
Tell them to
okay,
get off
fair
the
enough.
internet. I don't know what
That would
to
be
tell
the
you.
solution. Yeah, you wouldn't really care that children were getting cyberbullied or anything. That wouldn't.
I mean,
that
of
doesn't
course I
matter to
would.
you?
Whoa! Of course I would care, but there's a difference
Well, what would you
between
do?
care.
You can't do anything.
Whoa! Let me finish. I'm almost done. I'm saying there's a difference between caring and then recognizing whether or not something is an aggression or not. Like if somebody's you could, like, it depends on how the person is bullying. Like if somebody says, "Oh, you're ugly, you're stupid, you're fat," like, and they're not like physically harming you in any
No,
way.
if they say you should kill yourself.
Well, then no. If they're not, if they're saying fucked up things to you that are like really fucked up, but they're not doing anything physical to you, well then, there are other ways to deal with that isn't like legal. Like you could just separate them or some shit, or,
Separate them. Like, okay, let's say it's like a social media platform. If it's
tell
like
them to get off the internet. There's other
Wait, is there
right.
even like current?
Or if let's say they hacked your computer, right? And now every time you log into your computer, there's like notes on your desktop telling you to kill yourself, right?
Okay, that's not an aggression. Like I don't think that's an aggression.
No, but like we shouldn't have any way to stop that, right? There should be no way that anybody has
If I
like a legal way
if
to
I
stop
say,
that.
how about this? From here on out, if I say it's not an aggression, that what follows from that is that there's no legal recourse for that thing. So obviously, like
Yeah.
if I say it's not an aggression, that means you're allowed to do that. So long there's no legal recourse for that.
So you could imaginably, in anarcho-capitalism, just to clarify, have like an epidemic of kids being cyberbullied, killing themselves, and then
I think there are ways to deal with cyberbullying that without arresting people for cyberbullying or arresting people for saying kill yourself. Like I think there are other ways.
Arresting is one thing, but you don't think there should be any legal recourse. I mean,
no, because it's not an aggression.
Okay.
We don't need to like have the law involved to dissuade people from doing
Is there
disrespectful
even, like,
things.
legal repercussions?
Huh?
Are there even like what's the current legal repercussions for this?
Yeah.
Oh, you can literally get arrested if you do that.
If you tell someone to kill themselves?
Yeah, so like it probably
free
depends.
speech in this country, huh?
However, right, it depends, but there's a bunch of things. So like sextortion is something that's illegal, right? Hate crimes, non-consensual image, like revenge porn, right? Any like cyber stalking.
Yeah, but I'm just
where
talking
people-
about like telling someone to kill themselves, for example. What would be like the current legal repercussions?
No, that's not illegal. You could tell somebody to kill you.
Yeah, because I'm pretty sure that's not illegal.
I don't think that's illegal.
Here, the people.
I get everything else you mentioned was right, but I'm just like curious.
I feel like
Let me
people say
actually
that to
see,
people
because
online
I'm-
all the time, and they don't get in trouble.
Yeah, it probably depends. Like, I'm actually not 100% sure in the United States, but I know in like, I want to say in the UK, this happens. But here, let me see.
Of course.
If you like roofie someone, is that like initiating force? Like just like putting like the drug in their drink?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Can you explain how?
Because you're, what you're doing is you're without the person's knowing.
Yo, what's up?
You're giving something, putting something into their body without their consent. Like you're giving something to
what's
somebody
Okay,
without their
okay.
consent.
But if you were to like extort someone to like take like a roofie pill, like that wouldn't be initiating force.
No.
It depends on how you do it. Like, what do you mean? Like, give me an example.
Like you have something like bad that they did, or something that they don't want people to like know about.
And you say take this roofie pill, or I'm gonna tell other people you did this. Like, is that what you're saying?
Like
oh, well, then
extortion,
no,
yeah.
no.
Okay. And like let's say it's like really bad, like something that like like does like the severity of like of what you might reveal like change anything, right? Like if it's like life ending, that like comes out about.
Wait, it actually
Yeah,
depends.
so
on
it
what
looks
it
like
is.
it looks like this is illegal. It looks like this is illegal, right? So
Is this
children
even
can
enforced,
face.
though?
Yeah, it looks like children can face legal consequences for telling another child to kill themselves.
That's hilarious.
If it has to fit into like the realm of harassment and like that kind of thing. But it does look like
Okay,
if it contributes to self-harm.
Yeah, if you like extort someone to like let's say place these like I don't know what you'd call them, but they like interface with like neurons, right? They're like electrodes that interface with neurons, and then you use this to like torture them, like make them experience like maximal pain. Just but it's like purely mental, right? It's like not like physical, physically harming them. They just like feel as though they're like burning alive, right? This like wouldn't be initiating force.
Why wouldn't it be initiating force?
I don't know.
No,
I don't understand the question.
Yeah, you extort someone such that you can like put electrodes on their brain that will like make them feel as if they're burning alive.
Wait, what do you mean when you say you put that on their brain? What's actually going on here?
Like on their temples, like these things that these electrodes like interface with like their neurons of the brain, right?
Are you forcing them to do it?
If they don't do it, you're gonna fucking like ruin their life by like defamation and all other means of like extortion and whatnot,
Okay,
so they're choosing to do it.
Wait, hold on. So they do this, or they're just choosing to do it.
Yeah, they're choosing to do it.
Yeah, but presumably, they're like an innocent person and you're just gonna like ruin their life if they don't do it right.
Yeah, you don't have the right to stop someone from putting out information. Like it shouldn't be illegal to make an offer. Like if you go up to a woman and say, "Hey, if you don't have sex with me, I'm going to tell other people you're a slut." Like I don't think that guy should go to jail. He's just making an offer. That woman could just
If you say like, if you don't have sex with me, I'm gonna like ruin your life through all means possible.
Yeah, that
like,
way too. Yeah, like I will ruin your life, whatever. Like I'm gonna tell everybody a bunch of lies.
If like ruining their life does not entail any like aggression, then it's fine.
Yeah. Like if it's like exclusive to like just like telling a bunch of lies, like you know what I'm saying, then no.
Yeah.
Yeah, like defamation
seems
is fine.
That would be like just like I think like enough for me to just dismiss the like worldview. Like honestly.
What's the extent? Wait, what's the extent that stalking is illegal?
Sorry, what did you say?
I believe like stalking is viewed as like aggression if it like poses like an actual threat. But I think that if you go into like armchair theorizing at that point, I can tell an article on it actually.
On stalking.
Yeah, specifically stalking. Yeah.
So like if it's I don't know, like you're on your property, right? But you're like you know, going through like someone's binoculars, like that's totally chill. Like every day. Like following them.
Close your window.
That's not that's not innately aggressive at least. No.
Close your window.
If you like if let's say like okay, so let's say you know some person has like let's say there's some girl, right, and her ex-boyfriend has like a porn clip, right, and he like shared it with you, right, and then you like use this as like leverage, like this like not aggressing.
No.
That just seems like really like counterintuitive, honestly. Yeah.
I feel like it's completely consistent with the ideology. It's like completely consistent.
Yeah, no.
When it comes to like threats, generally I would like need like a specific like symmetry background, what differentiates just like leaking like some footage of someone and like just like doing something they don't like. Like if I say if you don't have sex with me, I'll put on yellow socks tomorrow. You will need like there needs to be like some solid like symmetry barrier.
100. Yeah. What he said. I agree with what he said. Also, I think Stalin was a bad guy. Zachary.
I also think Stalin was like a bad guy, just to be clear, but Stalin.
Why do you feel like Stalin was a bad guy?
Here.
Why was Stalin a bad guy?
Wasn't he a leader of a government?
Yeah, governments are not inherently like bad. I'm confused.
The USSR was pretty bad.
Why was it bad?
Didn't they kill a lot of people? Holodomor? I don't know the exact, but
I'm not sure. What do you know about the Holodomor that makes you think it was like an intentional genocide?
Well, did the USSR go into that country and take food from people?
Oh, no.
No, they didn't take any food from people?
No, they didn't take any food from people.
They didn't tax anyone?
I mean, yeah, there's taxes. Yeah.
There wasn't any, like, redistribution of wealth or anything?
Well, there was, yeah, a redistribution of wealth, yeah.
Well, there you go. That's an aggression.
Okay, so, like, but we can grant that, like, within the framework the USSR is bad, but, like, is it, like, worse than, like, America or, like, any other country that, like, taxes?
Well, I think
or, like,
every single government is bad.
Yeah, sure, no, I grant that, but, like, if we're just saying, like, well, the USSR is, like, just as bad as, like, any other government, then, like, that's fine. I grant that.
Well, I wouldn't say, I think there's some governments that are worse than some other governments, but I would say all of them are bad. Like, does that make sense? Like, they're all bad, but some are worse than others.
Yeah.
Like, I would say North Korea is definitely worse than South Korea.
I would not agree at all, but, it's fine.
You wouldn't agree that North Korea is worse than South Korea?
No, North Korea is like a utopia where everyone is happy, and South Korea is like a capitalist hellscape. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
I'd agree with that, yeah.
This is true.
Okay.
I don't know, I think, like,
maybe I need to do. Maybe I'm just a fucking idiot and just needs to do more reading. Maybe.
Yeah, I would probably say it might be the case because people seem pretty happy in North Korea.
Sorry. Go ahead.
What is this guy
Is that
laughing
funny?
about? What's so
That
funny?
you're uneducated about North Korea. It's funny.
Yeah. Maybe I'm just
I
a
think the
dumb.
worst people. I think the worst people are like the China haters because like there's just like so much Chinese propaganda. Like they think like like protesters again like disappeared or some shit.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
organs
weird. I
harvested.
don't know
Yeah.
like what the proof is of that.
I think China sucks.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
I don't
like
think it does suck. It's currently like leading the world's like nuclear facilities, both fusion and fission.
That's not good.
It's like, it is very good actually. Yeah, yeah. But you're against.
Well,
like,
I mean,
like fusion and
it
fission
depends on
power?
how they're using it. Depends on how they're using
Like
it.
yeah, to generate energy, to generate like
Oh, okay,
electricity.
okay, I mean.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, like, listen. Like, if you're talking about like
The reactors they're making can't even like be turned into weapons at all because like they're using liquid thorium and they're using and fusion just like has no ability to become like a weapon.
Listen, if
like,
you're talking about like progress and technological progress, yeah, obviously that's good. Like, I'm not gonna say that. I think China is really, really good in terms of that.
Why is
But
technological progress
I think their
good?
government does a lot of fucked up things.
Why is it good? Why is tech good?
Technology?
Yeah, why is it good?
I love technology.
So like you loving something makes it good?
For me, yeah.
Oh, so like if
Oh
you
well,
love
it helps people, bro. Technology helps people.
So if theft helps someone, you'd be okay with them stealing?
Oh my god, that's such a stupid argument. Get out of here.
Why is that stupid?
That is stupid.
Why?
Because
you said that something's good
you're
if you
harming
help
somebody. You're not harming somebody by using
Is it like-
technology.
Is it like theoretically impossible that like you could help yourself by harming someone?
Yes, you can harm somebody by harm somebody, but what I'm saying is technology doesn't harm anyone.
You
You're
can
just-
harm someone by harming someone? I'm confused.
Oh my god, I'm gonna mute you. I'm done. If you don't stop, just shut up. Shut up.
I have a good faith
Shut up.
argument against anarcho-capitalism, just to be clear.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So so do you think that like if the minimum like force necessary to like remove someone from your private jet is to like take them off the private jet because you're like flying over the ocean, so you like can't land it or whatever, just like push them out like mid-flight, killing them instantly as they hit the water, that's like justified, so long as they're like not just like so long as they're not allowed on your private jet, you know?
I mean, it would. I mean, assuming that.
I'll give like an example. Like someone gets like knocked out. Someone gets like knocked out by like a random ne'er do well and is placed well unconscious like into like an area in your private jet. You know, you don't notice them when you take off, and then they wake up. They're like, "Where am I?" And you're like, "Oh, get off my private jet." And so you want to like push them off into the ocean. Is that justified?
I don't know if I could give you a solid answer on this one because I feel like there are some people that could give an argument for. I think there's some people who make the argument. I don't know that like you have to, if they're not initiating force, and in the sense that they didn't really mean to aggress, or they're not what they call it accelerating the force or whatever. I'm sure you know what I'm trying to say, but then,
yeah, I mean,
then you can't just like kill them. Like, you know, you would have to find some way to like let them off if they're there peacefully. So like some people would use the example, like if somebody's like falling and then they grab onto a flagpole, would the flagpole owner have the right to push them off? Some libertarians argue that pushing that off would be an aggression because you would kill the person if the person is willing to get off like without violence, you know what I mean? And is willing to get that, like walk down, then you like pushing them would just be an aggression. So
Do you have a request, sir?
ANCAP Doggo left. He's like the best person to
let's say
argue. Sorry.
Let's say that like with the length of this flight over the ocean, you can't possibly land in time for this guy to like not starve to death, right? He wouldn't like. Would you say he's like entitled to like some food stores given that you have extra? Like you have enough food to feed him and yourself. If he doesn't get the food, he will die. And it's like no, this is like
no, I don't think so. I don't think so because because you're. I mean, it's one thing to push him off the flight and kill him, right? It's another thing to say like, oh, you're entitled to his food, right? You know what I mean? Like
just enough so he like doesn't die.
No, you're not entitled to other people's food. Like if you went on somebody else's plane and then, you know, just they're not in, just because you're on their plane, they're not entitled to like take care of you. They don't have a right to kill you, maybe, right? You could maybe argue that, but I don't think they have a right to like take care of you. I think that's doesn't make much sense.
Yeah, that's just, I don't know. It's just very counterintuitive, you know. But
Yeah,
I think
there's
other problems with like proving ownership. Like if you just wander onto like an unmarked land, and then some guy walks up and he's like, "Yo, I own this land," and you're like, "Show proof," and so you go and gets like the documents and like where's the end of like the okay, well, like what's the proof that documents weren't forged? Like what's the proof like this proof like so on? Because it seems like just it's like sort of can like be like impossible to prove these claims like unequivocally that you are the owner, right? Because you'd have to show that like, well, you got the land from someone who willingly gave it to you, who got the land from like something like basically all the people in the past had to either had to own the land, right? Like if you bought the land for someone who didn't own the land, then you don't own the land, right? And so it seems like you just have to prove that like every past owner has actually owned the land, or at least the first past owner owned the land, and like everyone after that bought it from them.
Well, this is how it would work, right?
Yeah.
So I assume you are staying somewhere in a house or something,
Good evening,
right?
sir.
Right? Hello? Blunder? You there?
Yeah, sorry, my mic was cutting out.
Oh, okay. So I assume you like stay in a house, right?
Yeah.
So like, let's say like 200 years ago, that land was stolen from somebody else and stolen from somebody else and stolen from somebody else, right? Assuming that land was stolen but you bought it through peaceful means, right? I mean, who should you give it back to? If you don't know who the original owner of it was, and as far as you could tell, you got it through peaceful means, and nobody else can prove that you stole it, well, then you're the owner. The possessor is going to be assumed to be the owner unless you have evidence that they stole it. Now, obviously, in every situation, it's not going to be easy to prove, like, like, who's the owner. But that's why us libertarians, we believe in what we call having some sort of demonstrable, what we call way to demonstrate when it comes to land. Generally, we believe in, like, in bordering and homesteading the land. We believe in land titles and things like that. Those are things that make it easier for people to figure those things out,
Yeah. It just doesn't really seem like the possessor should be like assumed to be the owner. Like, let's say you get like you're like.
Well, I'm not saying he is the owner. I'm saying he's assumed to be the owner. Unless...
Yeah. But no, that just seems like so. Unless there's like a cop and like on his radio, he like hears like, oh yeah, there's a bike, and this bike has like this many stickers, and like this is exactly what's on the stickers. And it was stolen by a guy with like this description, right?
Yeah, but that would be evidence, right?
Yeah, but that's not like proof, right? Like that's not proof that he stole the bike. And so if you go up to the guy, it's like unless you can like prove they stole the bike, like as in like proof in like a court of law. But it seems like
isn't that how that works? Isn't that how it should work? Shouldn't you have to prove that someone stole something before you just take it from them, right?
Well, no, I'm saying in this case, like the burden of proof for the ownership of the bike will be on the guy who looks exactly like he just stole the bike, right? Even if you don't.
No, the burden of proof should be on the person who makes the accusation.
I mean, like I just don't think that's true in this case, right? Like I think the cop is like can like stop this guy and like ask him like prove he owns.
I mean, he can ask him questions, right? But if the guy says, "Hey, fuck you," I'm not gonna. I don't want to ask questions. He's gonna have to figure out a way to prove
cop
it.
Can like then I think the cop has like a right to like hold him until like the proof can like come to light.
No, he has to prove it. He has to prove it. I don't think you should arrest somebody first and then until they prove it. That's not right. Because then what can end up happening is I could just go up to you, be like, "Hey, you stole my shirt." Go to a cop. This guy stole my shirt. Then they'll hold you until I prove that it isn't stolen. It was just like, wait a minute.
Well,
he's the one making the accusation.
So legally, there's a limited amount of time with which you can hold someone under suspicion, but you can hold people under suspicion, right? That's the thing you can do. I think it's the thing you should be able to do. And it's also it's different because the cop has like a lot more reason to think that this guy stole the bike because he has like an accurate report that a bike is stolen that like matches this
but does he have
bike,
proof?
right? Like down to like the sticker
that he stole it.
I mean, like, no, I guess like the you know.
Well, then
there
he's
could be
gonna
two
have
identical
to
bikes
he's
with,
gonna
like,
have to
identical
prove it in
stickers.
court. You know what I mean? You can't just make accusations without evidence. You know, you gotta.
Yeah, but you can't. But if you
Then
let this guy
anyone
get
could just
away,
point the finger at
you're not gonna,
anyone.
like.
Well, let me ask you this: Do you believe we
Mhm.
should? Do you think we should believe all women?
No, I don't think we should believe all women. No.
Why not?
Yeah, because some women lie.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
like, if we just like have women going around pointing the finger at people, and then we just hold people until they're proven otherwise, that's going to cause some issues, right?
No, you don't hold people until they're proven. Otherwise, you hold there's like you said, there's a limited amount of time where you can hold someone under suspicion, right? If like you're just holding someone, like no evidence is like coming to light, like, and so you don't have like proof or disproof, then you like there's like obviously you can't hold that guy for like just forever, you know. So like,
Well, you
there's,
shouldn't
like, there's
hold him at
limits, but-
all. Why hold him at all?
Well,
he
if you
didn't.
have
You don't
reasonable
even know if he did
suspicion-
anything wrong.
Yeah, but okay, the only way you can know if someone did something wrong is if you like go through like all the judicial processes and you have like.
Well,
like,
that's
like,
what
let's
you
say,
gotta.
like,
If you're
okay,
the accuser,
yeah.
you gotta prove that first. You can't just like.
Yeah, but
you can't
but
just
if, but
like
if,
arrest
if the
somebody
accused,
and then hold them until that doesn't. That's
if
not
the
fair.
if the accused like just never shows up to court, just like never wants to like to
Well,
have
you
this
could choose.
investigated.
You could still prove that someone did something without them showing up to court. Like you don't need them there.
Well, like let's say like in order to show this guy stole the bike, you need to like actually like know like who he is. Like supposedly, okay, so yeah, so let's say this guy is like wearing a mask, the guy who we think like obviously stole the bike, but we don't have proof of it, right? And do you think he has like an obligation to like give his like identity such that it actually can be investigated?
No.
Because like if but then
No.
like but then in the 99 times out of 100 where he actually did steal the bike, he's just gonna like bike away as is like.
But
what,
what
you're
if
saying
he's
is right, and
innocent?
it's
What
never
if
gonna
he
be
was
investigated.
innocent and you just
Yeah, we're saying that's
you
very
just locked
unlikely.
up an innocent guy? You just interrogated an innocent man.
Well, yeah. What if he's innocent? Like, but we're saying it's like very unlikely. Like you don't have proof, but it's like astronomically unlikely that he's innocent.
Okay, so should we believe all women?
No.
Why not? It's only 12% of men lie about. Oh, women lie, or 8%. You know what I mean? So it's a very
Wait,
small
that's a
percentage.
that's
of
a
the
real
chance.
that's a real.
It's a lot more.
You know what
I mean, yeah, like-
Pog,
like-
you know what I'm. You know the point that I'm trying to make, right? Like,
If for the relevant claim, it is like very unlikely that women are like lying because like there's like not a lot of women liars, and like this particular woman we can say is like there's no countervailing reasons that like well she's lied in the past or she like has a record of lying.
so
But
like
yeah,
if most women
if she-
didn't lie, you would say we should believe all women.
No, I'm saying that
You would turn
woman's
into a feminist and
accusation-
say we should believe all women.
No, I would say no.
Like what
that's
percentage
what
of
I thought
women
I
that
was
need to lie for us to like believe all women?
Well, no, to believe all women, no women would have to lie, right? Or no women would be
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's my
But
point.
women
Women
lie. If
People
only
lie.
if only 1% of women were like capable of lying, and like a woman claims something, then there's a 99% chance what she's claiming is like correct, right? And so so that gives you very good reason to like hold the person under suspicion as.
No, I don't think so. Because they didn't do nothing wrong. How do you know if they did something wrong if you haven't proved it? You gotta prove it, man. Oh, I thought you left.
Yeah, sorry about that.
I think that's a little problematic.
I mean, I just don't think so. I think that if there's like a 99% chance someone did something, then you can like hold them under suspicion of doing that thing. Yeah.
I don't think so. You need evidence.
Well, the evidence is the fact that the woman claimed to did it.
That's not good enough.
Well, it gives it a 99% chance of happening.
So we should believe all women.
No.
No, okay, so you don't even believe that.
No, we're not believing her. We're just holding him under suspicion.
Why? Because she told you?
No,
Right?
okay, believing her would be like locking him up like permanently, like charging him of the crime.
Okay,
right?
so it's like we should. Anytime a woman says that a man rapes her, we need to question. Like we need to like forcibly question that man.
Well, no, that's just like no, because the current statistics of like women lying about this is like not supporting enough evidence to like hold them under suspicion, right?
No. So when does it make it okay? Like what percentage does it make it okay?
I think if you have like a 75% chance that someone did something, you can hold them under suspicion. Yeah. That's approximate though.
A 75% chance?
Yeah, that someone did something. You can
Like
hold them
most
under
women don't lie when they get raped, right? Like.
Well, that's not relevant. We're talking about most people who make rape claims, not most people who get raped.
Wait.
Okay, if let's say like 100% of people who get raped make accurate rape claims, huh? What do you want about?
No, I'm sorry. This conversation is funny. It's making me laugh. I'm sorry.
Okay.
It's not you. It's
Fine.
the conversation is all.
Yeah, I'm probably gonna go to bed here because I've like the dentist tomorrow and then I have to like go watch a movie and whatnot. So
That's okay.
I'm gonna head out.
No,
Good night.
You too, man. It was good talking.
Yeah, you as well.
You too. Nah, man, you need evidence, man. Damn it. I can't change my parents neither. I hate it when it changes my armor like this. What the fuck? Oh. I need to return to the delivery bike. Oh, it's just one? Oh, no. I gotta do 5. Oof, no, let's not go that way. Let's hope some more people join up. If nobody else joins up, I'm probably gonna just stop playing and play some, stop live streaming and, head to bed. Oops. Oh, fuck. Are you hurt? Am I hurt? Yes.
Can you believe it?
Oh, in order to see what's on the thing, I need a... I just ran over 2 dogs. Nice. I am terrible at shooting on a controller. Hey! What's up, man?
Not much.
Hey.
Hello.
What's up, man?
I'm in a place called Talk to an Anarcho-capitalism live. Did I do that right?
Yes.
Now, you're an anarcho, that thing I said.
Yes.
And that
Capitalist.
means you have opinions.
Yes.
So what the fuck? I have opinions too.
Opinions are like assholes. We all got one.
Well, yeah, but like, some are better than others, right? Wouldn't you agree?
Of course.
Some are on hot girls, and we don't mind them. Do you?
Is there like a line of questioning about anarcho-capitalism in this?
Okay, if you're gonna fucking pressure me to say things, then yeah. I don't know what it is. I just know it sounds like it just sounds like you'd be someone I would make fun of. Is it like why are you going around calling yourself something that sounds like something I would make fun of? Is a real question. Like that's really what I have to answer to say.
My server muted him. Pow!
Looking for shit? You just stepped in it. We got a blazer! Motherfucker! Watch it! Piece of shit!
72, 68, 83. Good to go. Where's my hat? Easy. Easy peasy. Teleporting back.
Ready for a night of frivolity, sir? How can I assist you, sir? Ask away, sir.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with the gold tint, I guess. Or actually, I'm gonna keep it black.
Will that be used directly, sir? May I help you, sir? I'm afraid I can't do that, sir.
All our operators are...
Do you have a request, sir? Very good, sir.
All right. Hmm. I think I'm probably going to call it a night. I hope you guys have a good night.